You often hear the phrase, there's 3 phases in football. And this is also true in Madden 24, especially right now in late stage Ultimate Team, where the Vanguard nasty streak kick return party is super popular. If you guys did not watch K-Mac versus Henry in the King of the Lounge tournament best of 3, K-Mac was housing all types of kick returns this weekend, and it's starting to spread like wildfire throughout the community. So we're going to talk about the depth chart setup, not just to get the pancakes, but I'm also going to show you guys how to shut down the kick return unit, so that way you guys can cover this and have better field position on defense, so you're not giving up those long returns. Now, first things first, I'm going to show you guys an offensive depth chart for the kick return team, as it's based on my depth chart settings. You will find other resources out there in the wild that will show you different depth chart setups. There is a little bit of a science to this, but this is the way that I currently run mine. The positions that are on the field that you notice will be tight end 1, fullback 1, all 3 of your backup outside linebackers. So your left, middle, and right outside linebackers, the backups at those positions, your tight end 3, your wide receiver 4, your fullback number 2, your kick returner number 1, your kick returner number 2, and your starting punt returner. So with this particular setup on the offensive side of the ball, I want to talk a little bit why we're going to be running pre-lit vanguards that are not actually our starting offensive players. Right now in this game, we are talking about Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive side of the ball. This has been an item I've done a topic on before here on the channel. He turns off all pre-lit X factors on regular snaps, meaning that the offense and defense have to be on the field. This means that there's not a whole lot of use to those pre-lit Omahas and those pre-lit angry runs on your starting offensive skill positions. So if you're going to make use of your pre-lit X factors, it's probably going to need to be on special teams. So what I've done here is I've set up a depth chart. You guys don't have to copy mine exactly. In fact, I'm going to tell you guys off rip, if you guys don't have the coins to afford expensive Vanguard type items, you guys should be using nasty streaks. You guys can pause and set your depth chart to allow for offensive linemen to be on your kick return unit. Just kind of play around with your own roster here. But before we do that, make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Zan Madden YouTube channel with our long form content uploaded Monday through Friday in the mornings with shorts in the afternoon. And if you enjoy these types of schemes, make sure you guys check out Gridiron Game Plans, where we're running our Madden 25 and College Football 25 pre-sale. In Madden 24 alone, we will have uploaded over 300, yes, 300 vault tips, keeping you on top of the pro metas all year long, in the moment, sometimes even predicting them, but most importantly, countering them, so that way you guys know what to do with them when you face them online. On top of that, you guys will also get every offensive and defensive game plan for the game that you select for your pre-sale as well, at no additional charge, with members only Discord access. Make sure you guys take advantage of it. It's far and away the best offer I have all year long. Save yourself 50 bucks over going month to month. Hopefully we'll see you guys in the Discord as well. But what I've done is I've put 2 passive vanguards, you could go 3 if you want to, on your depth chart strictly for special teams. They will always be on because those don't count towards your snap count. So what I've got here is I've got Algie Crumpler as my tight end number 1. He is also my wide receiver number 4. This will make sense here in just a moment. My other 2 tight ends are also Vanguard items. Again, you could go pre-lit on these. You don't have to pay for passive Vanguards. So you could go pre-lit if you wanted on these. I've got Andrews, I've got Kelsey. My fullbacks are both going to be Vanguard type items. I've got Ben Skoronek's golden ticket here, and then I have a pre-lit charged up Vanguard JC Latham is my backup fullback. Then we're going to talk about our linebackers. Remember I said it's your linebacker number 2 for middle, left, and right. At our linebacker spots, I've got one idea in mind, and this is the impact block rating. So if you scroll down, impact block rating for these players needs to be as high as possible. I would not go lower than 98. Go 98, 99, max this out. Impact block rating is the rating that is used on the offensive and defensive side of the ball when an open field block is made, where you have momentum from both players with a collision occurring. So because we're not going to have honorary linemen, vanguards, any type of crazy ability that's going to cause pancakes, you want to max out the impact block rating. So my left outside linebacker number 2, my middle linebacker number 2, and my right outside linebacker number 2 all have as high impact block as I possibly can. Now from there, the only players that are going to be on the field are going to be your kick return number 1. I like to put a player at kick return number 1 that has either yak 'em up, because it will break tackles on kick returns as well, or the return man ability. So you can choose any ability you want out of those two to allow you to get those to work. And I do believe, for what it's worth, that freight train also works. So if you have a running back that has a broken tackle ability, you could put them as your starting kick returner. Now from here, what we're going to do is we are going to prioritize our kick return number 2 to also be a Vanguard item. This is probably the most expensive part of this setup, is because you're probably going to be looking at a Victor Cruz golden ticket. You could go with a nasty streak at this spot if you wanted to put a nasty streak type player at this spot. I've got Victor Cruz as my kick return number 2. Then your other kick returner that is on your starting lineup is actually your punt returner number 1. So you'll see here I put another Vanguard at this spot. Again, I understand that this is a super expensive setup that is more so reserved for God squads.
Oh, the God squad.
You guys can use nasty streaks for this tip to work, okay? So you do not have to go with just Vanguards. Vanguards are better than nasty streaks, but if you guys want to just kind of set up your depth chart with tight ends and fullbacks at these spots that have nasty streak, absolutely feel free. There's more than enough flex AP on the offensive side of the ball, with quarterbacks getting everything for nothing and running backs getting everything for nothing and receivers getting everything for nothing, that you can spend all your AP on your special teams unit, okay? So you're going to be fine with this. And if you do that, that is going to result in all those crazy kick returns that you just saw in our intro. Now, here is the glitchy part. This is how we are going to set up our coverage unit, because if we're going to be dealing with Vanguards and nasty streaks in the open field, we have to have a good understanding of who is actually on the field for the kick coverage team, because we don't want them to get pancaked. And our kick coverage unit is going to consist of these positions: cornerback number 4, free safety number 2, right outside linebacker number 2, middle linebacker number 2, right outside linebacker number 2, strong safety number 2, and cornerback number 3. The other players that are on kick coverage unit are fullback number 1 and wide receiver number 5. So when you took a look at some of the players that I had in these spots, you'll notice that the backup linebackers are on the field for both kick coverage and kick return. You'll notice that I actually have Montez Sweat as my wide receiver number 5 and punt returner number 1. He will not be used as wide receiver number 5 on the kick return unit, but he will be used as a coverage player on the coverage unit. So I like to have that out of position defensive player with high impact block covering. So this is a great spot to put an out of position defensive item, is this wide receiver number 5 position. Now, I know there's a lot of you out there saying this is all kinds of messed up, Zan. Mud is crazy. Yes, I agree with you. I totally understand. I sympathize. Don't yell at me. I am just here to give you the information so you don't have to deal with all this nonsense. If you don't want to go to the trouble of setting this up, you can continue giving up kick returns. That is totally up to you, but I'm here to give you the intel that you guys need. Let's take the practice field. All right, so here we are on the field. Let's explain what we've done with our kick coverage units. All those spots that I just broke down to you, I have stressed on the kick coverage unit 2 abilities. Both of these abilities are great because they will work when you're playing your regular defense as well. These are going to be the out my way and reinforcement abilities. Now, the reason that this is super important is because reinforcement and out my way are going to give the defensive player, or the coverage player in this context, a higher chance to win an impact block against the nasty streaks and the Vanguards that are giving the offensive unit a chance to win the impact block. So the way that this is going to work for you is that you're going to have these players running down the field, having a much less likely chance of getting pancaked and a much higher chance of actually winning that animation, shedding, and being in a spot to tackle. So let's go ahead here and kind of kick this off. This does not mean that you will never see a Vanguard pancake a out of my way or reinforcement. More or less, you're going to see these items able to get off blocks, and you're going to see less of these items going down in the middle of the field. So I'll kick this off a few times kind of down the middle and bring this out. And I want you to watch how my players in these positions, yes, you'll see one, maybe two of them fall, but you're going to see a lot of wins. So right here, as I'm looking at this, I saw maybe two, maybe three players that got pancaked. Let's take a look at the instant replay here to kind of break this down. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out here and we'll look at all the interactions. So we got this kickoff. All these players, except for the linebackers on the return team, have pancake abilities. The linebackers have 99 impact block. So let's take a look right here. We get a pancake in two spots. The first one that we see is Skowronek against Gardner Johnson. Skowronek, a little bit heavier than Gardner Johnson, about 15 pounds, I do believe. And then you also have over here Gronk against Seau. This is an example of a 99 impact block versus a 99 impact block. You see that that's just a regular blocking animation. As we look around the rest of the field, Algie Crumpler against Travis Kelce. This is technically a Vanguard versus a Vanguard, and you saw that we're in a good spot. Right here, we have Kyrie Jackson. He's untouched, but he does have reinforcement in the event that he is blocked. So he is designed to not get pancaked as well. This is huge because if your gunners get pancaked, you're going to be in a spot where they're going to just bounce to the outside and return this for a touchdown. Let's take a look at some of the other blocks here on this play. We have Montez Sweat at 260 pounds against Clay Matthews. He does win this impact block and floor him a little bit. Obviously here you're seeing sheds. You see right here, we have this Crumpler on the offensive side against Gronk. Gronk has that out of my way. He sheds and he ultimately makes the tackle. What else do we have on this? You do have JC Latham, who is an offensive tackle, getting a nasty streak against Ben Skowronek. That's a huge weight advantage. That's why you see that occur. But in general, you don't see every single Vanguard player get a win. You actually only see two pancake animations out of really 7 Vanguards on the kick return unit. So let's go ahead and kick off a few more times here and just kind of take a look at how this is going to shake out for you guys. Again, the goal for this is just to limit the number of pancakes, not to necessarily eliminate them altogether. That is a fool's errand. I mean, I guess you could, in theory, prioritize your middle linebackers to be like the Mylotta card and things like that. But in general, you're gonna see, look at that out of my way. Clay Matthews just absolutely won us that rep. He got the out of my way animation immediately and he made this play happen. Look at Clay Matthews, number 52 on the kick coverage unit, that is. You're gonna see, I'm gonna bring this out. And what's he do? First thing he does is he gets an out of my way on the nasty streak. We have, again, looking at this background, look at the Vanguard here against the out of my way on Gronk. He gets off that block. What do we have over here? We have a Vanguard of Andrews against Ryan Neal, who couldn't even see it coming. That's okay. It's going to happen every now and then. But again, look at how this works. We have 3 players on their rear instead of 7 or 8 or 9. That is a huge deal. No longer giving up 60-yard kick returns because the entire kick return unit is on their rear and you're relying on 3 linebackers to make these plays for you. Now you understand how this is going to work. You're going to be in a much better spot. Now, again, we could go back into our depth chart and, prioritize passive reinforcements. You're going to be fine with a lot of out of my ways. When I take a look at my items, I just set out of my way on my outside linebacker number 2 for left and right, my middle linebacker number 2, and then I'm prioritizing for CB4. I've got a safety with out of my way. My CB3 is reinforcement on Kyrie Jackson. My safety number 2 is Tillman with out of my way. My safety number 2 is Gardner Johnson with reinforcement built in. I also have the ability to maybe move Ryan Neal onto my unit as well. So you're going to have a lot of guys running down the field with abilities designed to prevent the pancakes. So I hope that this video was informational for you, helps you guys understand a little bit better how this works. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, drop those below. I want to see what you guys think. Obviously, this is pretty toxic, but hopefully I've given you guys the intel to counter it, slow it down, And obviously you guys now understand how it works as well. Again, if this type of information is big for you, make sure you guys go check out Gridiron Game Plans. Those pre-sales are active until the game comes out. This is the type of stuff we talk about on the website. I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.